सद्गुरु भगवान की जय, सच्चिदानंद भगवान की जय, सदा ब्रह्म की जय, जोग वशिष्ठ जी भगवान की जय। Hare Om. Is there any question for today? No question. We are discussing Nirwan Prakaran first half and 28th chapter. In this, we are discussing on the question put by Ramji to Vashistha ji. 4 questions were put, and Vashistha ji is answering to the first question. How is this body? Who has made it? And with what all ingredients, and who lives within it? So the first question is, how is body? So we are discussing on the body and its composition. So in this discussion, we saw that the body is built by nobody. Why? Because body is not to be found in reality. It is something which is unexpressible by words. When you see the body is visible, when you see analytically, or when you see its source, then body dwindles into nothing. So, when the body is not there, how can there be any maker of it? Nobody has made this body. It has been made by itself. If at all it is there. If it is visible, it is visible to you because of your long-standing practice of seeing it in some way. Though it changes every moment, the name of the body, the size, shape, and the ingredients, everything change every moment. Yet some changing phenomena you see. So it is due to long-standing habit. And for this, we have so many examples before us. Just as you see the bubbles in the water, the bubbles are visible to you, but it is nothing other than the water itself. Water is the source of it, and bubbles are not to be found. So nobody creates the bubbles. And about this body, we have seen the individual bodies, and it is the part and parcel of the universal body. Universal body is whole total body, and this individual body is part and parcel of it. Just as you see the tree is visible to you. Can you show the tree? There is no tree as such. The whole totality is known as a tree. Whereas, if you see, if you look at the tree, you see only the root, the trunk, the, the branches, sub-branches, leaves, buds, flowers, fruits. They all together constitute the whole total tree. There is nothing which can be called as a tree. Similarly, this body also. Body is a totality, name of a totality. Body we cannot find as body, something as body in the so-called body. You cannot see anything as a so-called body. But you see, the moment you look at your body, you see only the parts of the body. This is the head, this is hands, and these are fingers. The moment you want to see the part as a whole, it again changes into some more sub parts. You say the hand is a part of the body. At the moment you look at the hand, there is no hand found anywhere as a hand. It is only the joints, the elbow, the arm, the armpit, or the wrist, or the palms, or the fingers. There is no hand anywhere found. In this way, when you see it analytically, there is no body. So who will make it? It is made by your imagination. Imaginary body. This is how the individual body and also the universal body. Universal body also is made by the first idea of the body. There was an idea in the absolute equilibrium state, which we call it as Sat, the truth, absolute, which is unchangeable, unchanging, and the other is the awareness of the truth, existence, awareness of it, and the satisfaction, the contentment that I do exist. That contentment is known as the bliss. So Sat Chit Anand, the absolute truth and knowledge of it and the bliss of it, three aspects of one truth, which appeared as if there is an idea. Idea is I am. That is the first ego, the universal ego. When the ego appeared, you see the ego movement. movement of the ego. Movement means action, and one cannot remain as one when there is a movement. It multiplies. So naturally, it is said by the ancient great seers, great research students who have seen and experienced the truth, the existence of absolute. They say there was an idea in the beginning: I am one, let me be many. That means let me see myself as many. And so the absolute one starts imagining, and the imaginary parts of it is seen within itself. Just as you see one reflection becomes manifold when you enter into a lens house. One reflection becomes many, and those many reflections, they reflect in reflections only within themselves, and they are seen in multiple ideas, multiple sizes, multiple shapes, sizes, and names, forms. In the same way, the absolute I, the ego, becomes many within itself. First of all, it was a combination of eightfold aspects: the ego, I, and then the five ideas of seeing it within itself. Those five ideas are the units to measure the greater form of it. That's why it is called five measures. They are the form, the sound, and the touch, the the taste, the smell, etc. Five. What are them? The sound, the touch, the form, the taste, and the smell. Five units of gross, five gross elementary elements. The sky and the air, fire, water, and the earth. So the five measures of it are the sound, the touch, the form, and the taste and the smell. These five matras, we say, these five measures, small measures, these five, and the ego, and its movementary action. That is called the prana. Prana, the energy, and the imaginary process, that is called mind. So they became eight. They formed a form which was able to see itself. Seeing means light. Without light, you don't see anything. So we call it self effulgent form, we call it. In other words, it is the universal body. It is luminous. It is able to see itself, and it is also an imaginary process, as it were, and it is the small form of the bigger universe, which happened by multiplication in the future. When this starts, counting starts, and calculation starts, so that is called time and space and conditions. In this way, the whole universe is built, and it is individually everything is part and parcel of the whole universal totality. In this way, body is formed in individual bodies, and individual mind is the maker of it. The mind also is not at all found anywhere as mind. It is a process, changing process. So Vashistha said, there is no creator of this body. And then we were discussing सुदृढ़ वासना द्वारा पहले के शरीर प्रवाह में दीर्घ काल तक अभ्यस्त जिन जिन अवयवों से उत्पन्न संपन्न जैसी देह रहती है, उन्हीं अवयव संस्थानों से संपन्न उसी प्रकार की देह पुनः दिखलाई पड़ती है. Once this body is made somehow by imagination, it is formed, imaginary formed. Then it goes on repeating itself again and again, this form. Because mind has been habituated now to create this. Just as you thought something today, and tomorrow if you are in the same situation, again the same thought comes to you. That is called memory or impression. Suppose you went to the market today and went to some sweet shop, ate some particular sweet, and tomorrow, if you go by that way, your mind will remember, oh, yesterday I ate such and such sweet, why not today? Again, it will have a tendency to repeat again. That tendency repeats it again and again, and that thought of enjoying the same particular object is repeated again and again. This is how our habits are formed. And due to habit, we have taken for granted that this body is I. I am this body, and my relationship with the body is my relationship. So you are involved. So much so, you cannot get out of this environment. You cannot get out of it. And this goes on repeating itself in a circular way. It repeats it again and again. And it goes on strengthening itself, and it becomes solidified. And so you see this solid body. The source of this body is nothing but imagination and mind. This is what he says. This body gets repeated again and again. हे श्री राम जी, पुरुष के उत्तम प्रयत्न से मन को अंतर्मुख बनाकर आत्म तत्व का जब साक्षात्कार हो जाता है, तब यह जगदाकार संकल्प चिद्रूप ही हो जाता है। और यदि उसकी विपरीत रूप से भावना की जाए तो विपरीत ही हो जाता है। He says, O Ram, this attempt of thinking again and again, repeated thoughts, goes on, and mind becomes extrovert. Mind sees all these objects outside. And if you can withdraw the mind, make it introvert. Introvert means what you will see within the body. When you analyze, we see 5 seeds: the food seed, the mental seed, the pranic seed, and then the intellectual seed, and then the bliss seed. 5 seeds, 5 layers of its existence. The innermost is the bliss seed. And if you go on withdrawing your mind from outer level to inner level, then you reach the central point where the real I exists. The real I is the experience of that bliss seed. Experience. We call it real knowledge, unchanging knowledge. Our relative so-called knowledge is subject to change every now and then. Whatever we have learned today, tomorrow we'll have some more knowledge. Knowledge is ever growing. And if you share it with others, if you distribute it to others, it grows, it never gets lessened. So in this way, our relative knowledge is ever growing, ever changing. Without change, it cannot grow. So it is not reliable. That is the point. Your so-called knowledge, which is growing every moment, that is not reliable. Why? Because whatever you have learned today, tomorrow it will be lesser than tomorrow's knowledge.
I didn't get it.
So it is not reliable. And the real knowledge is the experiential knowledge, which never changes. Once you have tasted honey, you have experienced the taste of the honey. It never changes. If you go on tasting it 1,000 times, it never changes. The taste will be similar all the time. That is called experiential knowledge, and that never changes. And relative knowledge changes every moment. So when that relative knowledge repeats itself, that becomes truth-like. It appears as if it is truth. If you go on speaking lies again and again, same lies, then you yourself will feel I am speaking the truth because it is repeated. So he says, as you think, so you are. So the saying goes in English, as you think, so you become. That is practically true. You think to be a doctor, you have become a doctor. You think to be an engineer, you have become an engineer. You thought previously to be human being. Now you have got your body as human body. This way, the mind is the cause for it. Mind is the creator of it. And as you go on thinking, it gets strengthened, it gets solidified, it gets repeated again and again. By habitual repetition, it becomes something which you feel. When you analyze it, if you go on withdrawing your mind from outer world within yourself, this introvert mind goes on deeping down and reaches the absolute center, the absolute singularity. One without a second, that is the absolute equilibrium, and that is called the truth. So there is no such body as we think outside. When the mind becomes introvert and it reaches the center of feeling or experience, then the mind dissolves into that absolute singularity. Mind ceases to exist. हे श्री राम जी, यह वो है, यह मेरा है और यह मेरा संसार है। इसी प्रकार भावित होने पर देहादि जगत रूप संकल्प जो सत्य सा प्रतीत होता है, वो केवल सुदृढ़ भावना से ही होता है। Now he clarifies the point. Now it is a clear point. When you go on thinking, this is mine, this is that belongs to that person, that is not mine, this is mine, this is yours, this belongs to him. In this way, go on thinking, and I am the body. These objects belong to me. All these thoughts repeat themselves, and they appear as if true to yourself. And this is the cause for your visible outward world, the visible world. Behind this outward world or visible world, only your thoughts are seen, nothing else. And it appears to be true. So we can reach the inference that your thoughts, when repeat again and again, they get solidified, they get strengthened, they get a form, imaginary form, solid, we say, and in this way, all these names and forms are created, so also your body is. हे श्री राम जी, अत्यंत प्रिय कांता की तरह तीव्र वेग से जिसकी जिस रूप से भावना की जाती है, तत्काल ही वह तद्रूप सर्वत्र दिखाई पड़ता है। You are beautiful, dear, most wife, my darling, and that darling becomes darling only by your thoughts. Before marriage, where was she and what was she? What relation had you with her? Huh? All these are nothing but thoughts. Thoughts repeated. She is my dear wife. In this way, we can go further also. You see, our relations, when a child is born, he has no relationship. No relationship. He knows nothing. When he starts understanding something after some months, or when it starts talking, and understanding the language, then it is said some ideas are given to him, to the baby, by the society, people around him. This is your brother. Call him brother. The child says, yes. He is my brother. When you go on repeating, he is my brother, he is my brother, he becomes your brother. This relationship of brother, mother, father, sister, or uncle, or auntie, or all these worldly relationships, they are only some ideas given to you, some thoughts given to you by the people around you. You have accepted it, and they have become your relations. This way, the whole world is related to you. This is your building, so the child says it is my building. This is your village. The child says, yes, this is my village. This is your country. It is now my country. These ideas are given to the ignorant child who knows nothing, who has no ideas. And these ideas are repeated again and again. They appear to be true. हे श्री राम जी, जिस प्रकार दिन में अभ्यस्त व्यापारी ही स्वप्न में दिखलाई पड़ते हैं, वैसे ही यह संसार भी भावना से अभ्यस्त ही दिखलाई देता है. He gives another example. Just as whatever you see in the waking state, your waking state, that same thing is repeated in the dream. What you see as a dream. What do you see in the dream? The mountains, the rivers, the sky, the birds and animals, the human beings are the ants or the butterflies or something you see that you have already seen in the waking state, which repeats in the dream. Dream cannot be something other than what you repeat in waking state. In the same way, this world appears before you to be real world. So, without any complaint, without any hesitation, we can accept this so-called visible world is nothing but your long dream, long dream. So now you can have the question. Swamiji, you say it is long dream, so I must have seen it somewhere before. Then only it is repeated as a dream. Why don't you ask this question? So the answer is beautiful one. Yes, you have seen before. You have seen it before as a dream. The dream repeats again and again. You had seen this dream long before in some other life, past lives. And those dreams are repeated now, and it appears to be waking state for you. Just as you feel reality on the objects you see in the dream objects are real to you when you are in the dream. Isn't it? Same way, now you are dreaming and you are thinking all these are true. But when you wake up from this state of your experience, then only you will feel that this was a dream. This was a dream.
So, which is the waking state experience is the base for the dream?
Yes, waking is the basement of the dream.
So, for that dream, there has to be some base, which is again a dream.
Pardon?
For that dream, then there is a base, which is again a dream.
Yes.
And the dream continues.
Dream continues. And what is a dream? It is a imaginary objects created by imagination by your own mind.
And you also dream in awakened state. You may imagine some.
So dream is waking. So-called waking.
So-called.
You are awake in the dream. That is called dream waking. You think that dream is true in while you dream. So that is called dream waking state. So in this way, different states of your experience are identified. Your waking, so-called waking, and waking, you are aware of your waking, so-called waking state. This is called waking. In daytime also, your waking state also you dream. So this is called waking dream, wake dream. And in dream also you are awake. So that is dream waking. And in dream also you can dream again. So that is called dream. And in dream also you can sleep. That is called dream sleep. In this way it goes on multiplying. Your experience goes on changing. And in this way we classify. So all these are only ideas, only thoughts, and they appear to be true. शीघ्र विनाशी जो क्षण अधिकाल है, वह जैसे स्वप्नभूमि में 30 घड़ी के दिन के रूप में दीर्घ प्रतीत होता है, वैसे ही यह संसार स्वल्पकाल व्यापी, स्वल्पकाल स्थायी होने पर भी स्थिर शाश्वत लक्षित होता है. This is a very important point. We have to understand it. शीघ्र विनाशी जो क्षण अधिकाल है, a moment which is very transitory, which is subject to change every moment. Moment changes, and those moments are called time. When it changes, we see it as time. We calculate as time. And these moments, when they repeat again and again, they appear to be something as time. वह जैसे स्वप्नभूमि में 30 घड़ी के दिन के रूप में दीर्घ प्रतीत होता है. When you dream, in that dream, what do you feel? What do you dream? The day, our so-called day, which is say 12 hours day, that in the dream it becomes momentary, isn't it? You see so many days you are walking in the, you are a traveler, you see the dream as you are a traveler, and you have passed 1 month in your dream. But when you wake up, you see only 1 hour has passed. That means that one day or many days are seen in the dream in 1 hour, isn't it? So the meaning of time changes. That means time is a relative term. Because it is subject to change, so naturally it comes under relative theory formula. So time is seen within time. Time is seen outside time. Time is seen in a short time. The long time is seen in longer time. In this way, time is a relative understanding. It changes. And this way, your dream has become lengthened in your so-called waking, and you think it is really waking. This is how logically proved when we take the term time. And also when you wake up from this so-called waking state, then there is another waking state that is called witnessing state. Witnessing state. When you witness this day and night, your so-called waking and dream, then everything becomes a dream when you wake up to that state of experience.
The question has come, what you are telling. How do you have to live to stay constantly awake from this dream? and always experience the truth.
Yes, this is what I am telling now.
The same thing you are.
What is the way to wake up to that state of your existence? What is the way? The way is witnessing. Witnessing. When you witness yourself, whatever you witness, it becomes transitory. It goes on changing. And in the end, if your gaze is not changing, your vision is not changing, then the objects become fixed. They never change. Practically, truly speaking, your ideas change, the world never is changing. World is not changing. Your ideas are changing. Your thought waves are changing. That's why you see the world is changing. And you don't understand what is the world. For example, when you are moving in a car in a high speed, your milestones, they move back. They run back. When you are traveling in a train, fast train, your side trees, mountains, they run backside.
They appear they are running back.
They appear as if they are running back,
They are fixed.
whereas you are moving yourself. So in this way, you have to understanding this world is not moving. There is no world, so-called world. Your thoughts are moving, and thoughts, when they sometimes repeat, they create some forms and some names, and those names and forms, they are moving because your thoughts are moving. That is the reality. Just as you see, the trees move back, run back when you are moving fast in a train. Similarly, this world is moving because your mind is moving.
That exactly is theory of relativity.
And that is how relativity, the theory of relativity. And this is how I say
Relative world.
relative world and your mind is moving. That's why the God particles they appear as if
They are moving.
they change their behavior. Really speaking, God particles never move, never change. Your mind is changing, you are unable to understand your mind. That is the secret. And the minds of the scientists, modern scientists, move and they think the God particles change their behavior and their actions when you pay attention. Are you really paying attention? Or you are altering your attention? What is the truth?
Altering.
This is how this whole world is. Your visible world is. You see the outward world, which is nothing but the reflection of your inner mental process. That's why they say your mind is your mirror. Everything is reflected in your mind only. And that reflection is seen outside. This is the reality. This appears to be real when you see it analytically only, or else because of long-standing wrong habit, you see this world to be true. The way is witnessing. When you witness an object, you are different from it, and that appears to be changing. So, when you witness this world, you can realize it. This is nothing but a long dream. This I give you in other example also. How do you see the past and the future of a person? When your mind is in a higher level, then you see the past and the future of a person standing before you. When your mind only is in a higher level, and if you are living in the same level of understanding or mind, then you cannot understand what the person is thinking and what he thought before and what he is going to speak afterwards. You cannot understand anything. Everything is hidden before you. When your mind is in a higher level, then only it can see it. I gave the example again and again. When a person is flying in the plane, he sees down and he sees 100 kilometers at a time, in a single look. He can see 100 kilometers together. And in that 100 kilometers, he sees some driver of a car is moving in a car. That driver never sees 50 kilometers behind and 50 kilometers ahead. Never he can see. Whereas the person in higher altitude, he sees 100 kilometers at a glance, and he sees the past and future of the driver of a car at a glance, at present, in one sight. That becomes present for the person in the plane in a higher altitude. Similarly, when your mind becomes higher up, then you can, that is called witnessing state. When you witness these three states, sleeping, dream, and your so-called waking state, then all these three becomes visible to you at a glance, and everything becomes a dreaming for you. Then only, or else you cannot see. Because you are living in the same plane, so you cannot visualize that this so-called visible world is dreaming. Only when you witness it from a higher level, then you understand how is this world dreaming. Then he gives another example. जैसे सूर्य ताप से संतप्त मरुभूमि के आकाश में मृगतृष्णा नदी दिखाई देती है, वैसे आदि यह अविद्यमान भी पृथ्वी, अंतरिक्ष एवं त्रिलोक की सभी संकल्पों से दिखाई देते हैं। बताओ, बहुत बड़ी चीज बोल दिया वो। सच ए great truth he declares, but it is very hard to accept because we are in this dreamy land. We are in the dream, so we cannot understand what is waking. He says, all these sun and moon. No, he gives the example. When the sun is too hot in the deserts, because of that heat, the water is seen in the mirage. Water becomes so clear to you because of the heat of the sun. And in this way, when you understand it is there is no water in the mirage, then that water disappears for you only. But for the animals, for the deer, for the camel, they run behind that mirage to get some water. They don't understand there is no water in the mirage. The lion in the TV television screen, you see, it is coming towards you. It will catch you. It will make you a beautiful breakfast. So what to do? You should run away from the TV. Why? Because the lion inside the television doesn't understand that it is inside the television screen. Because it is inside the television screen, it is an animal. It doesn't understand it will bounce upon you. So you should run away and save yourself. Okay? This is how the animals run behind that water in the mirage. They don't understand that it is mirage, there is no water in it. In this way, when you understand the truth and see this world from that level of understanding, that angle of vision, then this world, all these three worlds, the sky, the earth, and the netherland, everything, they become only matter supreme. They become only imaginary. Suppose I shall tell you something. Now, I shall give you some imaginary fruit to eat. The name of the fruit is Kuchandram. Kuchandram. Okay, don't forget it. Kuchandram. And the fruit looks like something, a mixture of reddishness, yellowishness, and a little greenish. and little whiteness also is there. And it is grown on the Himalaya tops. Beautiful, very sweet fruit. And it is grown in 50,000 meters above Himalaya. 50,000 meters above Himalaya. It is grown in Himalaya only, above Himalaya.
Above Himalaya.
It is grown in Himalayan range, 50,000 meters up in the Himalayas. And its color is like that, I told you. And it tastes somehow little sweet, little soury, little astringent, and little bitter, and little pungent also. So it tastes like that. And its size is sometimes just like berries, blackberries, or
Blueberries.
yes, blueberries. Or sometimes it becomes bigger than that jackfruit. And sometimes it is smaller than, say, coconut. And sometimes it is similar to the size of non-fruit. Okay, now taste it and tell me what is the taste and how does it look to you.
Name is Kuchandra.
Name is Kuchandram, and sometimes it tastes like non-fruit. It tastes like non-fruit. So tell me, how does it look and how did you get it? Who gave you this fruit and where do you keep it? Please bring me that fruit. I want to taste it. This way, when you are away from all these thoughts and you understand these thoughts are baseless, then only it appears to be meaningless to you. Some imaginary fruit. Imaginary fruit. We have also some imaginary bird. We call it, क्या कहते हैं उसको जो आसमान में रहता है? We call it Gandabhairav. Gandabhairav. Bhairav means one who shouts so loudly it even there will be earthquake on the earth level. Gandabhairav. There is a bird. It lives in the sky higher up and it sleeps there. It has a nest in the sky and it lays eggs in the sky. When the legs fall down, while falling down, they hatch and the little birds, they come out of the eggs and they fly in the sky itself and go to that height and they fly, they live in that sky only. And it can swallow your earth also with one drop. Yes. So that type of bird we have. Have you seen it? This is how imaginary worlds are there. So your so-called real world is imagination of the universal being, the creator. Don't think anything is really existing here. Just as that Gandhabhairav bird lives in your imagination, and just as my swastika ashram existing in my mind, my swastika ashram, and just as that Kuchandram is nowhere found, it is some imaginary fruit. Whether it is a fruit or something, nobody knows. Some name, Kuchandram, you can name it.
It is an idea.
Idea. So if you go on repeating it, it will appear before you in the sky.
Yes, Swamiji, in heaven, Swamiji, it is said that whatsoever we think in heaven, the things is materialized at the same time.
Yes, when you go on repeating the thought again and again, it appears before you. So the heaven is there, the hell is there, so your world is there. Everything will be there mentally. Never mind. Mentally. Whatever you think it exists in your thoughts, whatever I think it exists in my thought waves. So this is how there are two kinds of creation. One is universal mind's creation, where you are in it, and you have also mental creation. So it is called individual creation, and that is universal creation. That will be little something
Yes, Swamiji,
more than your mental creation.
Swamiji, home, house, it is our mental creation. Because before construction of a home, we created it in our mind.
Yes, just before this building, it was in the mind of the masons and laborers. And before that, it was in the mind of the engineer. Before that, it was in the mind of the architect. And before the mind of the architect, it was existing in the mind of the owner, who gave the idea to the architect to draw some blueprint and give the ideas in a form. And those forms of the ideas, they get slowly grossified, and they take shapes and sizes from step to step, from the engineer to the mason to the labor and everyone. Then this building has come to a shape, and now it has become a building. The building is nothing but mental,
Come out of the idea.
and it is accumulation of some ingredients only, which has got some empty space inside it, and you enter into it and you think this is my house. In this way, you have got your house, and the birds have got their house. The ants have their ant hills. The rabbit has got its hole as his house. The rats have their whole houses. So well built.
Jersey guy, he has an idea of the man.
Uh,
Jersey guy, what is it called? Jersey guy.
Jersey. Cow.
Breed of cow.
Jersey.
Jersey.
Crossbreeding, by
Jersey.
crossbreeding.
How the jersey has come in the from the cow.
Yes,
Jersey.
crossbreed.
Yeah.
It is just an idea. It was just an idea of man.
So now it is multiplying. Everything is crossbreed. You are also crossbreed.
Yes, it was an idea.
Why crossbreed? Because human being, the male has got some idea, the female has got some idea. They got together, and the ideas were formed.
And it was an idea Brahma.
This is how I told you the story of Brahma. Brahma, the creator, created everything from mind only in the very beginning. And then the mental child, Manu, wanted to multiply the creation very quickly. So he went on doing tapas, austerities, and he became two. He was divided into two. One was male, one was female. And female went on dividing itself. So in this way, the copulation started. So two get together, and then third is outcome. In this way, the creation went on multiplying rapidly. So what are you then? You are crossbreed.
Manu has just Manu himself.
Manu also is some crossbreed. So everything is, when you analyze it, outcome of two. And that is called dualistic world. And that is called the relative world. If there are no two, then where is relationship? Where is dependency? So in this way, your creation is multiplied, and it has grown into so-called your present outward visible world. How can you take it for granted? This is real world.
One more question.
Yes.
When a person dies, the world may disappear for the person's mind, but the so-called world will still exist for the remaining people. What is the difference between the world that existed for the one who died and the world that still exists for those who are still alive?
Yes, I gave the answer. It is mental.
Yeah, but just
So it is mental only. So the person who died, I gave you all the details what happens to the soul after death. After death, the mental body or the inner self or the subtle body becomes, it goes out of this gross body that we call as a death. The gross body ceases to exist. It dissolves into different sources, and then the subtle body goes to the subtle existence. Naturally, it has to move into subtle existence. Our existence remains in different level of itself, different levels of existence. See, just as you see the different levels of visibility in the dawn, different level of visibility. That means less of or outgoing of light, like darkness, and incoming of light. That means visibility becomes slowly clearer and clearer. That change is so subtle, you cannot understand how, because your mind also is changing, because your mind is so gross. To understand that subtle change, you hardly can understand how the change is going on. While changing, there will be different levels of visibility. In the same way, different levels of our existence we feel every moment. Your mind moves in different levels of existence. Just as while driving the car, you see your speedometer never remains steady, it moves on. Just as you give a momentum to a pendulum in a vacuum area, then it will go on moving, it cannot steady itself. Similarly, your mind also moves on in different levels of height. Height means existence, level of existence. Similarly, everything you see on the superficial earth, you get heavy air, heavy air. The pressure of the air is more thick air. When you go up and up slowly, that pressure becomes lesser and lesser. That means air thickness of the air existence
Density goes down.
slowly becomes lesser and lesser. That is how the cold and heat, temperature also. Everything from subtle to gross, from gross to subtle. Slow change. That change everywhere is going on. In every way it is going on, which is we don't aware of. That's why this world becomes true for ourselves. When you see that changing process minutely, then this becomes dreamy to you. You cannot rely upon this world. You cannot. And that state of your mind only is achieved by regular, sincere, honest practice to steady the mind. And that is what we get from our different process of yoga, karma yoga, bhakti yoga, jnana yoga, raja yoga, tantra yoga, swara yoga, everything. Thousands of types of practices are there. Whatever you practice, slowly when mind becomes steady, then only it can visualize the movements of gross mind. The steady mind or the subtle mind can see, witness the movements of the gross mind. When the mind becomes subtler and subtler, it becomes steadier and steadier, more steady. Slowly, when it becomes absolutely steady in the state of meditation, it understands how the gross mind goes on changing. That is called witnessing. You have to witness your gross mind by your subtle mind. And that subtle mind will be witnessed by the subtler mind. In this way, slowly you have to purify your mind and you have to steady your mind. And this is possible by withdrawing the mind from the outer world, names and forms, and withdraw it within, just as the tortoise withdraws its limbs from outer world and remains inside safe and sound. So, when your mind comes to the heart, visualizes the absolute equilibrium state, that is truth absolute, then only it becomes absolutely safe, well protected from all sides, and it becomes all pervading, almighty, it becomes all knowing and all doing, everything it becomes. This is the process how to witness this world. Mind only witnesses. In the beginning, the mind ceases to exist in the end, and you are something different than mind, which witnesses the mind slow process. And this is possible if you sincerely practice all this. Whatever we do, whatever we discuss, everything is aimed at the same point. Whatever religions, different religions, they have given us different truths. Truth is never different from each other. The language will be different, the process of understanding will be different, but the truth is one and one alone. And that is understood by all the great leaders of the different religions as one only. And whatever is given in different religions as practice, they aim at the same one truth. Do whatever you like, no objection. Be in any religion you belong to. Believe on anything, but believe, have some faith, and steady fast, steady faith. You should not change your faith. Stick to it. Finally, you are bound to reach the absolute peak. Climb the mountain from any point in the foothills. Finally, one day or other, you are bound to reach one point, that is peak. हे श्री राम जी, दृष्टि के वैषम्य से आकाश में जिस प्रकार मोर पंखों का एक मुट्ठा सा दिखाई देता है, वैसे ही भ्रम से यह जगत की शोभा प्रतीत होती है. और राम, just as you see some peacock feather in the sky, peacock feather in the sky, when you rub your eyes, and open and look at the sky, you will see so many things. Some black spots, some peacock feather, whatever you imagine, you will see in the sky. So also, this world is seen to your mind, seen by your mind. And this world becomes beautiful because your mind is beautiful. And mind is beautiful because truth is beautiful.
Now, again a question on the mind. Individual mind is a part of the universal mind, which is infinitely stronger. How to go beyond it? How the individual mind can overcome the universal mind?
Overcome
The universal mind. I think this could be a common wrong question. Actually, I understand that the individual mind cannot overcome the universal one. Individual mind can only be destroyed. So will the world disappear. Am I correct? Just read
Yes, yes, you are
He's
correct.
asking, Michael.
Yes, you are correct. The individual mind dissolves in the universal mind. Individual mind dissolves. Just as when you see the tree, the leaves, the foliage dissolve. When they see the tree is seen, the trunk, the branches you cannot see. They dissolve in the tree idea. When you see your body, you cannot see your eyes or nose or ears. You see the body as a total. Similarly, the individuality dissolves when you see the universality. There is no such real individual mind nor any universal mind. Mind is mind. But when some idea becomes limited, that becomes individual mind. Limited mind is known as individual mind. The limit is limit. It is an imaginary limitation. How can you say anything on it? See, when the limitation is imaginarily held by the pot, empty pot, the sky is limited now. The unlimited sky is limited now by the empty pot. When the pot is broken, what happens to that limited sky? Does it dissolve in the outer infinite sky? What happens to it? It never dissolves, nor it gets changed into something. It remains as it is. But you have to say something because language is
Can we say
defective.
it get merged with the universe? Can you say?
No objection. You can say anything. It has become the individual sky inside the empty pot. When the pot is broken, it becomes one with the outer sky. It unites with the outer sky. It merges in the outer sky. All these language are language only. Nothing happens to that sky. It remains as it was. So there is no language to say, express it. That is why it is beyond our expression, beyond the
Beyond limit,
speech,
there's a limit.
beyond the speech.
Beyond speech, you cannot, right?
You can't express
describe.
Yes. Nothing happens. Nothing happens also we cannot say. We cannot say nothing happens. Something has happened. What is that? The limit is broken.
Limit is broken.
That is what has happened.
That too imaginary limit.
Imaginary limit.
Because in the pot also there is a sky. Within the pot and in the book.
Within the pot there is also sky.
The clay of the pot.
Within pot means within the walls of the pot.
Yes.
There is sky.
So
Sky is all pervading.
all pervading.
So there was no limited sky.
No.
Limitation is grossly an idea. Gross idea. And when that gross idea is broken, then nothing happens. Nothing happens to the sky. Nothing happened before. Nothing is happening now. Nothing will happen again in the future if another pot, empty pot is kept there. Neither the outer sky enters into that inner pot, nor it goes out. Similarly, these ideas and this idea of body, individual body, universal body, individual mind and universal mind, all these are ideas only. Only in 3 periods of time, the existence exists, nothing else exists. Only one absolute, all-pervading existence exists. No question over it. No more questions. So, questions, of course, we put, but questions, when analytically seen, when the question is analyzed properly, question becomes the form of answer. The answer is hidden in the question. No objection if you put the question. Questions are always there, and answers come only when the questions are put. But you have to understand, the questions are derived from answers only. First the answer is seen, then only from the answer the question is made out. This is how the examiners create the questions. In their mind, the answer will be there. From the answer, they make the questions. And if you can tally your mind with the examiner's mind, then answer is there. That is how the method of education.
That is how even the business runs. Backward integration.
Yes.
That's how business runs.
That is the process of education.
You want money,
yes. Whatever is there in the teacher's mind, it is transferred to the student's mind. Thoughts only. Process of thoughts. In this way, questions are welcome. But questions should be analytically studied. Then only answer will be seen hidden in it. And answers are the source of the questions. Okay. So the body is not to be found, and there is no creator of this body. So there is no individual body. There is no universal body. Everything only is imagination. And relatively, we can understand many things in this relative world. From lower to higher, from gross to subtler to grosser, or harder to softer. In this way, we understand so many things relatively, which is not reality. भद्रा विशुद्ध दृष्टि से जैसे आकाश में उत्तम मोर पंखों का मुट्ठा दिखलाई नहीं पड़ता है, वैसे ही आत्म तत्व साक्षात्कार रूप विशुद्ध दृष्टि से यह जगत भी शोभा दिखाई नहीं पड़ती। When your vision is clarified, when your vision is purified, your vision is changed into wide angle, you see there is no beauty in this world. Beauty is your mental creation. What do you call beauty? See the outside beautiful world. Okay, the flowers are so beautiful. What do you see in the flower? In the Maganvalia, you see only the leaves. They are colorful. That's why you call it beautiful. And if I tell you the secret of colors, you will be wonderstruck. These colors which you think as beauty, either color or the designs in the way it is formed, that you say as beauty. So if the designs or the colors or the formation is called beauty, then why don't you see beauty in every form and every name? Why don't you see beauty? Then what is called ugliness?
Ugliness, acha.
Yes. If you understand what is beauty, there is no ugliness. It is a relative term. When you compare something with some other thing, something appears as beautiful, or other things appear as ugly. That is what is your ideas are. So now come to your colors. You know, the real color is nowhere found. And all these so-called 7 colors in the rainbow, whatever you see the rainbow. Have you seen?
Yeah.
One color mingles with the other and takes the form of the other color in rainbow. There is a particular line between 2 colors. One merges in the other. So what do you understand from it? One is the outcome of the other, one is the source for the other. So in this way, white is the source of all colors, and black is the end of all colors. In between come all other colors. They merge in each other. And this is how the painters, they understand the mixture of colors and they paint beautiful pictures. Beautiful pictures. What is beautiful picture? Mixture of colors. That is all.
Basically, guys, only beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder.
Yes.
So if painter finds it beautiful, it's beautiful for him.
And the ugliest child is so beautiful for the mother of the child. So beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder. There is nothing which can be called as beauty. And I shall tell you how the beauty is beautified. The secret of beauty. Whatever is seen repeatedly with interest, that becomes beautiful. And that becomes your choice. Whatever is repeated again and again, vision or sound or your any anything, whatever
Any
name,
thought for that matter.
yes, any thought over any name and form, when repeated again and again, that becomes your choice, that becomes your interest, and that becomes beautiful, that becomes your habit, that becomes your character, that becomes your life, and that becomes your world and your relationship. The secret is hidden there. Repetition. And this world also is the outcome of repeated thoughts of the Creator. He started it as before, just as you started this day as yesterday. You have started this day today, just as yesterday. So also, the Creator created this imaginary world, went on imagining, just as before. Yatha purvam akalpayat. This is how we reach at some point, conformed point, only when we analyze everything bit by bit, openly, without partiality. Don't have partiality. How do you call partiality? You are partial to yourself. Do we know how you are partial to yourself?
You choose the thought which you like.
No, you have some ideas before, and those ideas are created by still more ideas before that. So, in this way, the past is created by longer past. The longer past is created by the far off past. In this way, time repeats itself, seasons repeat itself. Everything is repetition only. And your choice also is nothing but repetition. And your ideas now are based upon the ideas which you had before. So that is called partiality. You are bound to follow those previous ideas. That is your present state of existence, so called your personality. You are the outcome of past
All accumulated ideas,
accumulated.
pre-notional, preconceived ideas.
Yes, yes.
That derives the present
The
choice.
past creates the present, and the present creates the future. And to
That is
and
why,
to
Swamiji, every individual have a different choice and habit.
everything. रुचि नाम वैचित्र्य, रुचि सबका अलग अलग होता है. Everybody has different choice, different interest. That depends upon the inner ideas accumulated beforehand.
All your journey.
And that is known as the subconscious mind, chitta.
Chitta samskara.
That is the storehouse of all your ideas collected before. That is
5 minutes for the question answer.
fine.
We'll keep 5 minutes for the question answer.
Yes, Now some more questions. Whatever questions you can. Come on. If anybody has any question, don't be afraid. Don't hesitate to put the question.
There are 11 people.
Pardon?
There are 11 people. The count is 11.
Today? Only?
No, 11.
We have outsiders. I mean,
Outsiders.
for-
In reality, is close than 35. Outsiders, internationally.
Acha.
international.
So,
Okay.
so we have kept them. 11
And
persons.
others will get it by record.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ankaresh is doing.
Yes. So now anybody has any question, you are welcome. Don't hesitate, because when the questions are analyzed, then only answers are seen which were hidden in the question. So don't hesitate to put the question, because the answers are hidden. No questions. So glory to me. May Lord bless me, because I have clarified all the questions. Thank you all. And go home and contemplate. If you will have any questions, you are welcome in the next session. In the beginning of next session. Don't hesitate. From this session or from anywhere in the world, you can bring any questions on any object. We are ready to fight. Whether it is China or it is
Taiwan, Pakistan,
Iran or Pakistan, we don't care.
Pakistan,
Iran,
Iran.
whether it is Pakistan or Taliban, we don't care. We are ready to fight. Come on, tomorrow, means next session. Hari Om. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sadguru Bhagavan ki jai. Sachidananda Bhagavan ki jai. Sabda Brahma ki jai. Saraswati Maharani ki jai. Yoga Vashistha Bhagavan ki jai.